What's good, everyone? It's Mater Uchiha back here with another What If. Now, this may be like a one shot, or it could be a series if you guys want, but it's going to be what if Deku, what if Deku woke up and chose violence? Like, what if he was just on pure demon time? Like, I'm talking, he does not care. Now, yes, he's not going to start off like this, but yeah, if you like the video, hey, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and yeah, if you guys want, you all can hit that subscribe button if you really like me. I don't know why you would though, but uh be sure to hit my hit my be sure to go into the comments. Be sure to go into the comments and leave feedback or any ideas you have for what ifs you want me to make. And I will try to do them. Not guaranteed, but I'll give it a try. And with that being said, let's get into it. So, for some context, Deku, he's still gonna be the same as in canon, with some key details being changed. One, Uraka is in his high school, before he went to UA, and was actually and is dating Deku. Like, she's dating Deku right now. And Bakugo's still bullying Deku and everything, but Deku has been actually working out. Deku's been working out, so he's very built. And he can, like, when he met All Might and he was given one for all, he ended up being able to control, like, full 100%. So what he decided to do with that is he decided, so people didn't use him, he would kind of make himself a little weaker. Well, not make himself weaker, but he'd make himself seem weaker. And he'd, do it like how Canon Deku would, with the, whole breaking bones and everything. So, up until the USJ, that's what Deku does. He breaks his bone doing everything. But on the day of the USJ, they're getting on the bus and everything. They're heading towards the USJ, and on the bus, Deku's talking with everyone. Like, he's talking, he's chatting. Sorry, but he's talking with everyone, and what Deku decides to do is he's looking around for Uraka. Like, he's looking for Uraka. He's like, I wonder where she's at. So he's looking around on the bus. He looks at the back of the bus and he can see some blonde hair and some brown hair. And what Deku decides to do is he gets up in the bus. To all kids watching this, do not stand up on the bus. That's how you die. But Deku, no, he decides to get up on the bus, and he's making his way to the back of the bus. And once he gets to the back, he actually sees Bakugo and Uraka kind of making out. Well, not kind of. They are, like, they're swapping spit. And while Bakugo and Uraka are swapping saliva in the back of the bus, Deku's witnessing this, and he doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He just goes and he sits back in his seat in the middle of the bus. He's talking with his friends, but in his mind he's thinking, and he realizes exactly how dumb he's been acting, because he's been kind of simping for Uraka, just giving her money when she's been using him, and he realizes this now, and he's like, I've been getting used like a fool my entire life because of them. As he's thinking of Bako and Uraraka. Because his mom didn't like her. His mom didn't like her, and that's a heads up. All dudes and girls, if your mom doesn't like the person you're going out with, high chance she's probably right. So, yeah. I mean, she may be wrong, but sometimes, or most of the time, she's right. So, listen to your mom. And what, what Deku decides to do is, he's just sitting. He doesn't tell anyone about what he saw. But I mean, a couple people did see and did hear it. With one of those people who heard, Bako and Uraraka making out, being Jiro. She heard it in the back due to her super hearing, basically. So what Jiro decides to do is, she's kind of comforting Deku without anyone else knowing. She basically they're listening to music together on the bus. And once they make it to the USJ, 13 shows up. Uraraka starts simping for 13. If you guys saw the new manga chapter, man, I love how 13 looks. But back to the story. Basically, Deku, while Uraraka's fangirling over 13, Deku's just kind of giving her this sour look in his eye, just this disgusted look. And he's giving Bako the same look, just this pure disgust, just I hate your entire existence. So they go into the USJ and everything, and now as 13's doing her little, her own little, what do you call it, I guess you could call it her own little speech. While 13's giving off her speech, a portal opens. A purple and black portal opens in the middle of the USJ. And out come a giant amount of villains. I'm talking monstrous amount of villains. And, Kirishima, he does his normal thing, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you guys had fake villains. That's so manly. As Aizawa and Deku are both those aren't fake villains. Those are real villains. But everyone's looking at Deku, and Deku has this, sinister kind of smile on his face. I'm talking sinister and sadistic grin on his face, because he's kind of lost all care. He doesn't really care anymore. So what Deku decides to do is he charges up full 100 throughout his body, and he just Deku starts looking like this basically, and he just takes off straight towards the villains before anyone could stop him, and he just starts decimating all the villains in his path. He's just ripping through them. I'm talking Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance type whooping that he's giving them. It's just unfair to everyone included. Everyone that's watching this, people that are actually fighting, everyone is just kind of what the hell? I thought he was weak. Why, what the hell is this? So, what Deku decided, as Deku's doing all of this, Shigaraki's talking to Kurogiri, and Shigaraki's like, Kurogiri, bring it out. As Kurogiri's like, are you sure, young master? I mean, it was for All Might, and before he could even finish his sentence, Shigaraki's like, I said bring it out, or I will turn you to dust right now. As Kurogiri, he says, Okay, young master. As he opens the portal, and out comes this big behemoth of a being the Nomu. And Deku, Deku's done whooping on all the other villains, and Aizawa's still at the top with everyone else. Like, they haven't even run yet because they're just that surprised. They're like, holy hell. But what happens is they're all looking at Deku, and Deku, like, he looks like he's kind of had it. Like, he's had enough. Because his eyes are basically kind of like this. Like, where you can't see anything. No pupils. It's just all white in his eyes. And what Deku decides to do is he decides to just blitz straight. Like, he just goes straight for Shigaraki. But before Deku could hit Shigaraki, the Nomu goes in front of him and takes the punch. But the Nomu goes flying into a wall, leaving even Kurogiri and Shigaraki stunned because they're like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Why is that happening? I'm scared. And what ends up happening is Nomu comes out of the wall and it's staying still for a minute, and then Shigaraki just goes, Nomu, kill that brat, as he points at Deku. So Nomu, it charges towards Midoriya, and Midoriya and the Nomu, they're throwing punches at each other, but Midoriya, he's dodging and hitting with left, right, like just going back and forth on the Nomu. And Nomu's taking these hits, but Nomu's getting tired and pretty worn out. So Nomu hits Deku back. Deku gets up and he just goes, you know what? I've had it. As he starts charging up this red aura, and Deku starts to kind of look like this. Like, hold on. Like, basically what Deku does is he starts to gain a red aura as like these cracks, I guess you could call them, like almost cracks in his body start to form. And he starts to, like, what he does is he basically starts to go through all of these. Like, he goes, gate of opening, gate of rest, all while doing all the pressure points. And now he's going through all of them until he reaches the last one. He just goes, gate of death, open. As he just starts to gain this reddish aura where Deku's kind of looking like this. But he's just sprinting straight at the Nomu, and he is just decimating the Nomu. Like, I'm talking, he is just melting the Nomu completely. Like, he kicked the Nomu so hard that it literally melted into ash. Like, it melted and then turned into ash. And then afterwards, Deku, like, I'm just gonna make it so that Deku has a, where the gates don't really put a strain on your body. Like, it's kind of like Kaioken, but it won't kill you. That's what the gates are gonna be like. Well, no, the gates are gonna be like the gates, but they're just not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna change it like that. Like, basically, the gates are just not gonna kill you. None of them. Or the 8th gate is not going to kill you if you overuse it. So, Deku, he closes all 8 gates, and he goes back to normal. He powers down One for All. He powers it down. He goes back to the way he was. He turns. He looks at the class. They're all stunned. He's about to turn back and, go and power up and fight Shigaraki again, but Shigaraki and them, they're gone. They dipped. They said, oh, hell no. All the villains, they're all like, they are knocked the hell out. The Nomu's dead. And as Deku's walking back up, Bakugo walks up to him and is like, what was that, you shitty nerd? And before Bakugo could even finish his sentence or just grab onto Deku, Deku just charges up again and just sucker punches Bakugo straight in the face, sending him right into the wall. And, Bakugo, he gets out of the wall. He's like, what was that? And, Deku runs up on him again. He hits him one more time. He gives him a few kicks and everything. Like, he's just throwing Bakugo around, and all what he's doing this, he's like, yeah, what was that? What was that explosion, bitch? Yeah, you were talking all that shit. What was that? So he's just wailing on Bakugo, just absolutely demolishing him while talking smack. And like Todoroki, I'm gonna make Todoroki kind of a dick in this. Like, he's not really gonna be a friend of Midoriya. He's gonna be a dick. So I'm gonna make it so, like, yeah, basically Todoroki and Bakugo, they're just gonna be assholes to Deku. So what happens is, after after Bakugo's done beating on Todoroki, or after Bakugo's basically after Deku's done beating on Bakugo, Todoroki tries to come in and try to fight Deku, and Deku knocks him around again. Oh yeah, you want to try some icy hot patch? Come on, let's go, come on. And he's basically knocking him around again, like he's knocking Todoroki around as well, and it just looks painful to witness. Like, he's just demolishing them, and like they're both fighting him, and they aren't getting very far. Like, he is just absolutely wrecking their shit in completely. Like, he is just demolishing them. So what Deku decides to do afterwards is, he leaves them both on the ground. They're both wounded. Like, they got broken arms, broken ribs. Heck, Shoto, he's missing a few teeth. Bakugo has a few cracks in his head. Like, they were stomped the hell out. Like, he stomped them the fuck out. And what Deku decides to do is, like, after that, Deku basically walks up, like, Deku walks over to Uraraka, slaps her, basically said, I saw what you did, and we're breaking up. And now they're all like, Class 1A, they're wondering what the hell just happened. Because, they just saw Midoriya completely beat on a whole bunch of villains, beat on something that was made to kill All Might, and then just beat on two of his classmates and then slap his girlfriend. So everyone's wondering what the hell just happened to Midoriya. Like, what in the world just happened to him? Like, what happened to make you like this, basically? And what they ended up, like, what happened afterward was Deku, like, he walked out of the USJ and everything. Like, he walked out, he went home. And what Deku decided to do afterwards was just to just to make Todoroki and Bakugo mad. He called Bakugo's mom and Shoto's mom over to his house, because Deku lives in a apartment. He called them over, and then he called Bakugo and Todoroki over to his house as well. So, Shoto and Katsuki, they're making their way over to Deku's house, wondering why the hell he called them. And they walk up to the door. They hear some noises, but they're just kind of zoning it out because they're more afraid of Deku at the moment. So they knock on the door. Deku says it's open. They walk in and they see Deku basically just having a threesome with Mitsuki and Rei at the same time. Like, he is just having fun with them. Like, he is just going to town on both of their ass. And Bakugo and Todoroki, they're just watching, and Deku's like, yeah, I told you guys I was finna get back at you all. Especially you, Katsuki. You fuck my girl, I'ma fuck your mom. I told you that, right? I wasn't kidding. So, after he's, they're just stuck in shock with watching this. And, I'm talking Deku is going to town on, he is going to town on them. And, it's kind of funny, to be honest. Because he is, not holding back at all. Like, he's even using one for all right now. Like, he is going to break their legs. And what Deku decides to do afterwards, no, he just, like, he finishes inside of both of them. And once he's done, he picks himself up, he slaps both of them on the ass, and he says, alright, well, get out. As, Mitsuki and Todoroki, Mitsuki and, Rei, both, rush to their feet, and, grab their clothes and run out of his house. Or run out of Deku's apartment. Running past Shoto and Katsuki. So, they both asked, they're like, what the hell was that? Like, what, you having an affair with our, is our mothers having an affair with you? And they're like, and Deku looked at them and said, no, they're not having an affair. That was a one-time thing. Or one time for me. Because I decided that I'm not only gonna do your mom, but I'm going to leave them emotionally broken. They're gonna want some more of me, but they're not gonna get any more until I feel like it. As Deku nicely, he cleans himself up, he puts his pants on, everything. As he pushes Bakugo and Todoroki out of his house, Deku gets out as well, locks the door, and Deku walks off to go somewhere. And he actually ends up spending the night over at his original house with his mom, just talking with her. Not telling her what he did, but still telling her he got revenge after all the stuff that Bakugo's done. Next day, Deku walks in to class, and seeing how there wasn't no USJ incident, or you can't really call it a USJ incident because it was no incident, no one was hurt in any type of way other than the villains. So it was more of a USJ massacre because they were all just getting absolutely demolished by Deku. So what ends up happening is afterward, we're gonna skip to the sports festival. Yeah, to the UA sports festival. So what happened? Deku's been talking with a whole lot of people. Just having some connections here and there. But not really doing anything with those connections right now, and I'm not going to until later. But what Deku decides to do is, they make it to the sports festival and everything. And what happens is they get to the I think it was called the obstacle race. And now everyone's getting in line and everything. Deku, he's way in the back. He is behind everyone. And then President Mikey goes, ready, set, go, go, go. And Todoroki freezes all the people except Deku, because, Deku's way in the back, so Todoroki didn't think about him. So then, they all break out and everything. Deku still hasn't moved, so, they're talking about him over the intercom. They're like, it seems to be that Izuku Midoriya hasn't moved yet. I wonder why. And, they're all, all the spectators, they're all looking and everything. They're like, I wonder why he isn't moving. And then Deku charges up one for all, 100%. He looks like this. And then he opens the 8 gates once again, and he just blitzes straight past everyone. It's not even him going past. He was just going through everyone. Everyone in his path, if they were in front of him, he was literally stomping them. He was bulldozing them out of his way. To the point where, just from the air pressure that Deku was making, just from running past them, it was blowing some people back. Momo, Tokoyami, Kirishima, some of those people, they were just getting sent back by the air pressure from Deku that he was giving off. And, they make it to the 0-pointer part, of the race, Deku literally just runs through them because of all the heat and electricity that's coming off him. He just melts through the monster, just melts through them. Like, he just makes a clean, human-sized hole through all of the 0-pointers. And then, they make it to, like, that canyon type of thing where, you had to go across the rope. Deku just leaps over that. Like, he jumps, makes it halfway, grabs onto the rope, and then just kind of swings back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to be making Deku quite OP in this, so I hope you guys realize. So, like, Deku, he's making it and everything. He makes it to the minefield. Deku takes one look at the minefield. He decides to, like, move around very quickly and grab all the mines at once. Or, like, he puts them all in a pile. And Deku literally starts chucking. Like, he starts just full power throwing the mines like they're frisbees at everyone behind him. Every single person he is just tossing the mines at with no respect at all. Like, he's just demolishing them. And what ends up happening afterwards is like what Deku does is like he's going like crap. I don't really know what to say. Like, he's still just throwing the mines at people. And once he runs out of mines to throw, he just starts picking up rocks and just start throwing the rocks too. And while he's throwing the rocks at people, while he's throwing the rocks are getting kind of coated in lightning, so they end up shocking people that they hit. And what happens is basically Deku decides to, like, afterwards, like, he just crosses the finish line while being in, like, 8 gates, 100% one for all mode, or 100% 8 gates mode. Or as I like to call it, 100% youth for all mode. So Deku, like, he crossed the finish line, he powers down, he closes the gates, he powers back down from one for all, and at that point he's just standing there waiting for everyone to make it, and due to the mines and the rocks, an hour later they actually managed to, get to where Deku's at. They finally all managed to cross the finish line. So now we're gonna go to the Calvary Battle. So Midnight, she tells everyone about the points, and that the one in first place has, I think, 1,000,000 points or 1,000. It had a lot of zeros, so I'm just gonna say 1,000,000. And everyone looks at Deku, and Deku basically just kind of looks at them with this type of stare, just like he had his back turned to them, and he's just looking at them like, what are y'all finna do about it? And at that point, like, everyone turns around scared because they're like, okay, we're about to lose this. So he ends up partnering up with Monoma. Because, yeah, I'm just going to make it so Monoma, like, has a deep trust for Deku. Like, he thinks of Deku as a really good friend. So Monoma, Hatsume, Shinzo, and Tokoyami. Those are going to be the people on Deku's team. And what ends up happening is, like, the moment they say go, everyone starts bolting towards where Deku's at. But Deku using taijutsu, he's just managing to deflect everyone's attacks. Like, they're all trying to use their quirks to boost themselves toward Deku, but it's not working at all. Like, Deku is like not full power. Like, he's just just dodging effortlessly, almost like he has Ultra Instinct. Spoilers for another What If, but like he's gonna be doing all this, and he's gonna be like dodging with no effort, slapping some people, like giving them some backhands, open hand, like open palm, punching some people. Bakugo came at him, he just kicked Bakugo square in his face, sending him back to his team. Seeing how, in the anime and in the manga, Bakugo is like exploding, using his explosions to fly. So yeah, Deku kicked Bakugo back towards his team. I'm just gonna say Uraraka, she matched into another team. Deku kicked her back as well. Shoto came at him, he just front flipped Shoto. Well, not front flipped, he grabbed Shoto. Took Shoto like away from his team, and then proceeded to use him like a weapon. And he started to beat on everyone else using Shoto. And all this was happening, Deku was literally just taunting them. He was like, have you ever been so mad you smacked one bitch with another bitch? As he just like grabs Shoto by the leg and swings him at Bakugo, knocking Shoto out, but sending Bakugo back. As Deku just goes, I sure have. And like he is just decimating them. And what happens is Deku, like, eventually he gets up, or not he gets up, he wins the Calvary Battle. And the first match in the, like, crap, I forget what it was called. Like, just the fights, the tournament, basically. What Deku decides to do, the first match is him versus Shinzo. So, they get on the match. Midnight's like, are you all ready? As Deku nods and Shinzo also nods. And Midnight goes, alright, well, ready, set, go. And before Shinzo could even speak, Deku just goes 50% one for all and just kicks Shinzo right into the wall. Straight into the wall with no care ever. Like, with no care in the world. And what Deku decides to do afterwards is, he picks up Shinzo because Shinzo's knocked out after that. I mean, he got a 50% one for all kick straight into his stomach, sending him into the wall. So yeah, he's out cold. So Deku picks up Shinzo, takes him to the nurse's office. Shinzo wakes up, and Deku actually offers to train Shinzo, along with Monoma. Decides to train both of them, and they're actually kind of happy. So, what Deku decides to do is, like, he doesn't train them just yet. Like, he's gonna train them, but not yet. So, next match, it's going through all the normal matches, like usual. And the next matchup is The next matchup is Izuku Midoriya versus Shoto Todoroki. As Deku, he gets like a sinister grin on his face. As he gets up, he walks down. Shoto, they both get to the arena as Shoto looks at him and says, I'm going to beat you with just my ice. Without my fire at all. Deku's like, yeah, try it, see what happens. I'll whoop you just like I did at the USJ. As Bakugo and Todoroki, after hearing that, they get kind of a tick mark on their forehead, but only Shoto does anything. So Shoto sends a massive wave of ice at Deku, where Deku just punches it and it just shatters. So what Deku, like, what he's doing is, like, Deku's, like, it's not even him stalling, it was more Shoto stalling. Because Deku right now is just blitzing towards Shoto, just throwing punch after punch, left, right, throwing kicks and everything, using shoot style, and it's not doing anything. So Shoto's like, alright, I just have to hold out until he runs out of stamina.